These have been two of the worst teams in the league to kick off Week 8 of the all-time rosters franchise, Jacksonville and Houston. Mark Brunell, the Jaguar QB, has been the worst quarterback in terms of rating and touchdowns in the league this season as well, but he picked a good time to erupt for 4 touchdown passes. One to Jimmy Smith, Mercedes Lewis, down the sideline to Keenan McCardell to make it 21-0 at the half, then McCardell in the end zone again. 6 touchdowns, including 4 in this one, as the Jaguars defeat Houston by 14. The first place lead in the AFC South determined in rainy Nashville between the Colts and the Titans Oilers. Tennessee Houston's Warren Moon, the only quarterback in the league without a single interception. He threw 3 more touchdowns to give him 9 of the season. That to Delaney Walker, and it's 21-0 at the half, 21-6 in the fourth quarter, and Manning is sacked for the 5th time on the day by Javon Curse. And the Colts relinquish the division lead to Tennessee Houston. 4-3 Tennessee will play the Bengals next week. The mean and nasty all-time Baltimore Ravens franchise, 3-3 this season with a defense that's been one of the best in football. They face the desperate 1-5 all-time Arizona St. Louis Cardinals. Hall of Fame running back Ollie Matson gets them going on the road with this tough touchdown run. And then the defense of the Cardinals was the one who stepped up in Baltimore today. First throw of the third from Lamar Jackson. Hall of Famer Night Train Lane with his first pick of the year. And then Jackson throws what looked like a punt into the hands of Larry Wilson for the safety's 2nd interception this season. Cardinals with a much-needed win on the road, 17-3. Eli Manning has certainly faced his struggles this season, and it doesn't get any easier today as the Dolphins come to town, 5-1 overall and first in the AFC East. 2 early touchdown passes from Eli Manning, first to Shockey, who was in for the injured Mark Bavaro, his status determined tomorrow. Then Schofter from 79 lifts the Giants in front by 10 at the end of 3. The Dolphins begin the 4th off a long drive with Mercury Morris's 3rd touchdown of the year. Then the defense gets involved. Cameron Wake the sack strip, and Doug Vetters with the recovery. Dolphins would kick a field goal to tie the game at 17. The Giants, with 2 minutes left in the game, would march all the way downfield. Schaffner to the 33, and then Tiki Barber to field goal range, but Ray Wycha commits a pivotal hold for the Giants. And Eli, to try and push them back into field goal range, throws one up for grabs, and that is dropped by Beckham. The Giants would punt, and we head to overtime in rainy East Rutherford, tied at 17. Miami begins a long drive with the run from both Morris and Zonka, but Marino, after the sack, throws it short of the first down, and Brandon Fields would check in the punts. And boy, would he have his best punt of the year as he drives the ball to the 1-inch line, pinning the Giants as deep as they can here. Marvelous job from Fields. Manning, just to avoid the safety, throws one with the rush coming into the hands of Del Schofter to avoid the clinching 2 points. And then here come the G-men. Tiki Barber for a 21-yard gash, and then Aaron Thomas, one of the great tight ends of the 60s, drives them all the way to field goal range. Josh Brown for the win, and the kick is good. Brown 11 for 11 on field goals this season. Manning without a pick for the first time in a month, and the Giants win it in overtime. Miami ravaged with injuries off of the loss. Paul Warfield joins the injury report, out for 3 games with a torn shoulder labrum. Must win for the all-time Minnesota Vikings, who come in with the worst record of the NFC, and they delivered on the road in Charlotte. Off of the Tarkenton touchdown, Newton, picked off by Bobby Bryant, returns his 2nd interception for a touchdown this year, and Minnesota defeats the Panthers 31-7. Carl Eller of the Purple People Eaters with his best game of the season. The highly anticipated matchup between Drew Brees and Kurt Warner pits the 4-3 Saints and the 3-3 Rams. Kurt Warner going deep to his tight end Red Phillips, who gets past everybody for the touchdown, and the early Rams lead. Plenty of that in this one from Kurt Warner, NFC Offensive Player of the Week. 3 touchdown passes in a hat trick against that hapless New Orleans defense, 2 of them to Elroy Hirsch, who goes for nearly 200. Warner went for 314 on the day, and the Rams dismantled the Saints 27-14. Meanwhile, Drew Brees broke his ribs late in the game against the Rams, who will miss the next 3 weeks, including next week's very important matchup out of the division, as the Saints will play the Bucs for first in the NFC South. Thrilling game out of Orchard Park between Washington and Buffalo, winner to 4-3 this season. Plenty of points in this one, beginning of the second quarter with a 32-yard touchdown to Eric Moulds. Gary Clark in traffic to tie the game. Back on the board, Andre Reed for the touchdown, then the greatest play of the season for the Washington offense. 92 yards on the catch run to Clark, who goes 4 for 142 and 2 touchdowns on the day. Redskins Commanders led by 6 with under 2 minutes to go. In comes Jim Kelly, who did this plenty of times in the clutch, and he does it again. Diggs the catch, then Andre Reed into the red zone with a 28-yard reception. Then on 2nd and 10, Eric Moulds down the sideline. He's in for the Buffalo touchdown and the late lead. Slinging Sammy Baugh has bounced back in so many games throughout his Hall of Fame career. First down Santana Moss, under 20 seconds to go. First down Charlie Taylor. And then on the final play of the game, barring a penalty, Baugh for the win for Washington. Throws one up for grabs. It was Terry McLaurin who touched it, but could not make the catch. He has made so many plays throughout his incredible career, Terry McLaurin, but could not grab it in traffic there. Jim Kelly, another 260 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the player of the day for Buffalo. From the barn burner in Buffalo, we head to the snoozer in Denver. Going into the fourth quarter, the Broncos lead the Lions 6-3. The lowest rated quarterback in the league, Bobby Lane, strikes again in the fourth. Chris Harris with the interception. And the Broncos offense would take quick advantage. Second play of the drive, 52 yards from Elway to Taylor for the touchdown. Part of his 5-catch, 148-yard touchdown performance. St. Brown to the end zone as well, this one from 55, but that is as close as Detroit would get. Davis would rip off a 55-yarder himself. Then the defense preserves the win with a 4th down stop led by Mecklenburg. The Broncos' 4-game losing streak snapped against Detroit as they win it 27-10, led by a 125-yard day out of Hall of Famer Terrell Davis. The all-time Seahawks are struggling to score on offense. They've only scored once on defense, so with 3:19 to go in the half, how about their return man, Tyler Lockett, for the first kick return touchdown of the season, a 97-yard return. Part of a marvelous performance against Cincinnati today. Wilson in for the touchdown, and the all-time Seahawks knock out the Bengals 26-10. To maintain their 1-game lead in the NFC West, San Francisco needs a win today, and they have a formidable foe coming to town, the 5-1 Cleveland Browns, winners of 3 in a row. Jerry Rice for the touchdown for the 49ers in a slugfest, 10-3 late in the game. Hall of Famer Otto Graham taking over in the clutch. First down, Paul Warfield, one of his 10 catches on the day. Collins inside the 10, and then the aforementioned Hall of Fame receiver Paul Warfield past the defense for the touchdown. The officials will review it and maintain the call. It was very close. We're tied at 10 late in the fourth quarter. Joe Cool, Joe Montana, first down on a gain of 14 to Terrell Owens. And then with just a few seconds left, he's going to go for the end zone here. A jump ball to Gene Washington, who makes the catch and is down at the 1-inch line. A brutal mistake from the Browns, letting him go deep. Ward the tackle. But Robbie Gould would hit the field goal to win the game for San Francisco 13-10. San Francisco, a 1-game lead over the Rams atop the NFC West. So many memorable games between Big Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady over the years, and that rivalry is renewed in Pittsburgh today. Big Ben Roethlisberger has done his part for the Steelers with a league-high 13 touchdowns, surrounded by an all-star cast in Pittsburgh. He'd throw 2 more today. Hall of Famers Lynn Swann and Antonio Brown on the receiving end of his 2 scores. This one from 50 over 2 Patriots defenders, and the Steelers would lead it late in the game. Brady has made serve without both Randy Moss and Terry Glenn with injuries most of the season. Stanley Morgan, a league-high 6 touchdown catches, is in the end zone yet again. We go into the fourth quarter of this one, Pittsburgh in front 17-10. Hall of Famer Hines Ward likewise has held his own for the Steelers at receiver, and then Franco Harris gives them a near insurmountable lead late in the game. Tom Brady trying to play hero ball late. He sent up a jump ball late in the fourth quarter, and off the tip drill, Troy Brown makes the catch for the Pats. And 2 plays later, Hall of Fame tight end Rob Gronkowski is in the end zone. He'd now need his defense to get the ball back, but Franco Harris would have enough of that as he would run out the clock, winning the game for the Steelers, who improved to 8-0 this season, the last remaining undefeated team in the all-time rosters franchise. The Browns have been good, but the Steelers have been unbeatable so far. The all-time Eagles have also looked unbeatable as of late. They humiliated Washington 2 weeks ago, 37-3, and for first in the division, they battle the Cowboys on Sunday night. Cliff Harris just returned from injury this week, and the Hall of Fame safety has a touchdown return for the Cowboys. Owens in the end zone again. Cowboys romped the Eagles early, 17-0, but Roger Dodger has had a knack for the mistakes. Another pick six thrown from Staubach. This would keep the Eagles' momentum going, and then after a field goal, Mike Quick burns the defense deep, and with 5:43 remaining in the game, Keith Jackson finds the end zone for Philadelphia. It is 23-17 late. The Cowboys need to milk some clock here, and they would with that offense. First down, Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith, part of the triplets of the 1990s. But the Cowboys offense would stall with under 2 minutes to go and settle for a Brandon Aubrey field goal just short of the first down. It was a big make to extend the Dallas lead to 2 possessions. Next Eagles drive, Randall Cunningham, who's been very productive this season, needs a big play. Under 2 minutes to go, he got it to Pete Pihos, one of his 4 Hall of Fame receivers. But Randall Cunningham, just like the Cowboys, would stall in field goal range, and they settled for 3. Eagles, David Akers, the onside to keep him alive, but Billy Joe Dupree recovers for Dallas. The Cowboys would then run out the clock with Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith. Roger Staubach has made his fair share of mistakes this season, 7 interceptions, including 1 tonight, but the Cowboys knock out the Eagles 26-20. We have a 3-way tie for first in the NFC East, and the all-time Cowboys, winners of 2 straight, have jumped into the 1 spot in this airtight division. Another airtight division, Kansas City leads the AFC West by only tiebreakers. They play their rival Chargers on Monday night, the winner to 6-1 and all alone in first in the AFC West. And Patrick Mahomes wasted no time. 85 yards on the first drive of the game. Tyreek Hill for the touchdown. Priest Holmes in the third quarter, slipping a tackle here and goes all the way. The Chiefs would rout the Chargers in this one, and late in the game, their quarterback goes down with an arm injury, Dan Fouts. His status to be determined on the injury report tomorrow. Embarrassing loss for the Chargers, 36-0 on Monday night. Kansas City, the number 1 offense and defense in the league this season, led by Priest Holmes, who went for 128 yards on the day. The all-time Chiefs have won every game since the opener against Buffalo and have some breathing room now in the AFC West at 6-1 overall. The Chiefs' Week 9 opponent is the Dolphins. They did lose at the Giants, but maintained first in the AFC East. And lastly, Green Bay, who had a bye this week, will battle the Chargers next week, sitting a game up over Chicago in the NFC North. Green Bay and San Francisco currently have the top 2 spots in the NFC, and if the playoffs started today, the Eagles and Cowboys would meet again. Also on the wild card, the Bears would yet again visit the New Orleans Saints. And if the AFC playoffs started today, Steelers and Chiefs would have first-round byes. Chargers at Titans-Oilers, Browns at Dolphins. Buffalo, the first team out. Let's check out the individual leaders through Week 8 of the all-time rosters franchise. Mahomes first in quarterback rating, Manning first in passing yards, and Big Ben first in touchdowns, tied with Mahomes with 15. Deshaun Watson, overwhelmed this season, has a league-high 9 interceptions. Adrian Peterson with 1 yard over Barry Sanders in rushing. Meanwhile, Jim Taylor and Walter Payton first in rushing touchdowns. Watson yet again on this list with 5 fumbles this year. Antonio Brown has been a cheat code, first in pass catches and first in receiving yards, 647. Meanwhile, Stanley Morgan, number 1 in touchdown catches. The greatest 53 players of each NFL franchise. This is the all-time rosters franchise with Charger Dude 95.